Today we are going through this lab sheet 19.1.4 to implement basic connectivity on a simple switch network. On your left, you have the network of two switches, S1, S2, and also PC1 and PC2 connected to the respective switches. So the task we need to do is to perform some basic configuration on S1 and S2 switches, and also to configure the PCs with the respective IP addresses and so on. Finally, we will configure the switch management interfaces. So let's take a look at the first part. The first part of the lab requires us to configure switch S1 with a host name. So what we can do is I can just click on the switch S1. And on the switch S1, click on the CLI tab. So on the switch CLI tab, you should be able to see the following. Press return to get started. So I just press enter. So by default, it will enter the user exec mode, which you can see over here. So I need to type the following commands to enter the privilege mode. So type enable, press enter. Notice the prompt has changed into a switch followed by a hash sign. So this means that the switch is currently in the privilege mode. Okay, so now we type in the command configure terminal. Okay, so let's go over here, type configure terminal. Press enter. And notice now the prompt is changed into the following switch followed by a bracket config. This means that the switch is currently in the global configuration mode. Okay, we are going to change the host name. So next we type in this command, host name S1. So over here, I type in the command host name S1. Press enter. Notice now the prompt is changed. Previously, it was known as switch. Now it's known as S1. So the host name is essentially a name of the device. Okay, we just change the name of the device or host name from switch to S1. So we are done with step 1. So let's go on to step 2. So for step 2, we need to configure the IP address on the switch. By default, the switch can automatically forward the information to the PCs using the media access control, or what we call the MAC addresses. However, you can also use the IP address for the switch to forward the information. Okay, because sometimes your IP address will change depending on the device location. The MAC address is a hardware location address, so usually it doesn't change that often. So to change the IP address or configure the IP address, we will need to type in the following command, interface VLAN1. So let's go over here, type in the command interface VLAN1. Press enter, and notice the prompt has changed to this config-im. It shows that now the switch is currently in interface mode. Okay, next we're going to key in the IP address and the subnet mask. So this is the command I need to type. So over here, let's type in IP address 92 0.68, followed by the subnet mask. Okay, so let me double confirm the address. Okay, so once I key in the IP address, I press enter, and it should not show anything on the screen. Okay, so next we are going to enable the switch. Okay, so no shutdown is a command for me to key the switch to enable the switch interface. No shutdown. Press enter. So after I press the no shutdown command, the interface is changed to up. Can you see? So this means that now the interface is enabled. It is able to communicate, start working. Okay, let's go on to the next part. There is a question they ask, what is the meaning of no shutdown? So basically, no shutdown is a way for the switch to enable the interface. Okay, to enable the interface, or maybe to switch on the interface. You can write down this answer if you want. Okay, so this is the answer for the question. What does the no shutdown command do? Okay, to enable the interface or switch on the interface or something like that. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so next we'll go on to the part B. To exit the configuration mode, and then we can save it. So right now I just keyed this command called N. So I just type N, press enter, and it will automatically reach the beginning of the switch. Okay, so now I can key in this command, copy running config, startup config. Okay, so over here, make sure I'm in the privilege mode. Copy running dash config startup config. Okay, once this is done, press enter. It will ask you a question. Do you want to rename the destination file name? No. So by default, this is the preferred startup config file name. You can change it if you want. If you don't want, you can use the default one and press enter. So in this case, we press enter to use the default. So this is the command to actually save the setting into the startup config. Okay, next, we are going to check the IP address on switch 1. So key this command, show IP interface brief. Show IP interface brief. Okay, press enter, and you will see a whole bunch of things appear on the screen. Okay, so this is the command, and then you will see a whole list of the following interfaces and their status. Okay. For example, you can see that fast Ethernet 01, the interface is up. The fast Ethernet 02 also interface is up. The rest are mostly down. Can you see? So there are only two interfaces. If you press the space bar, you will also see the interface for VLAN 1. Notice that VLAN 1 is configured for IP address 192.168.1.253. Again, VLAN 1 is also enabled, is up also. So we can confirm the VLAN 1 is enabled. Okay, let's go on to step number 3 for the switch 2. For switch 2, I'm going to do the same thing, configure the host name and the IP address. So let's go into the switch 2 global configuration mode. So I can close this window now. Go to my switch 2 and then open the CLI tab. You should be able to see something like this on the screen. So press enter to enter the switch 2. Okay, so I'm now at the switch 2. I'm now at switch 2. So for switch 2, same thing. I'm going to go into the global configuration mode. Okay, so if you still remember just now, we type enable, press enter, you will change to the privilege mode. And then from the privilege mode, you can type in the command config. Okay, configure terminal. Press enter, and then the prompt will become switch bracket config. So this means that we are now in the global configuration mode. Okay, so this is in the global configuration mode. Okay, let's go on. Next, we are done with A, so let's go on to part B. Configure the switch S2 with a host name according to the addressing table. So the addressing table is provided at the top of the left sheet. So let's go up. So for switch 2, the host name is S2 also. So we'll do that. Change the switch 2 type host name S2. Press enter, and the prompt will change to this S2 bracket config. So this will allow me to change the host name for the switch 2. Okay, so next we have completed the part B. We'll go on to part C. So use the info on the addressing table. Repeat the same process to configure switch 2 with an IP address. Okay, so just like what you did on the switch 1, we are going to configure the same thing for switch 2. Okay, so let me go over to my switch 2 here. Type in interface VLAN 1. Okay, press enter. You will see the prompt becoming this, which is the interface prompt for VLAN 1. Okay, so this is the interface for VLAN 1 now. So same thing, we are going to configure the IP address for switch 2. In this case, the IP address for switch 2 is available on the addressing table. So let's go to the top. Can you see the addressing table? So this is my S2 IP address. Okay, so let me go over to my S2 and type in the command IP address 2.6, followed by the subnet mask. Okay, so let me double confirm the address before I press enter. Okay, so I confirm the IP address is correct, press enter, and then I should be able to configure the IP address for my switch 2 VLAN 1. Okay, so next, I need to enable the interface. So remember to type in no shutdown. After I enter no shutdown, the status of the interface VLAN 1 will change to up. This means the VLAN 1 interface on switch 2 is enabled, is working. Okay, so to double confirm again, we can go over to key in the command on the switch 2, show IP interface brief. So let's go that here. Let me type exit to get out of the interface. Exit. And then I type show IP interface brief. Okay, press enter. You will see a list of the interfaces. Okay, so I type show IP interface brief. And this will show me the list of the interfaces currently available on switch 2. Okay, so if you scroll to the bottom, there's one more interface, press spacebar. You can see the VLAN 1 interface is up with the IP address 192.168.1.254. Okay, so this is the last part here. Same thing, I can save the configuration file to the non-volatile RAM by typing this command, show running config startup config. Okay, so let's do that. Press enter, copy running config startup config. Okay, press enter. They will prompt me, do I want to change the name? Okay, I can change the name if I want. I can change it to, let's say, is up to you. Okay, it's your choice. If you don't want to change the name, you just delete everything and press enter. It will save to the original name called startup config. Okay, so this is how we back up the settings on the non-volatile RAM. This is the command. Okay, let's go on to the part 2. Configure the PC1 and PC2 with IP addresses and verify network connectivity. So let's go to my PC1 and select the desktop tab. So I can close this window and go to my PC1. And on my PC1, I will see a bunch of the options. So let me click on desktop IP configuration. I need to key in the static IP addresses for PC1. So
going to come out tomorrow or what?
So let's go over to the table here.
Going out tomorrow or what?
PC1, the address is 192.168.1.1. Okay, so let me do that now. Over here, 192.168.1.1. The subnet mask should be the same. Just double confirm. The subnet mask is also 255.255.255.0. Okay. So let's go and save this setting. PC1 is done. Let's go on to my PC2. Desktop IP config. Same thing for PC2, I need the IP address. So PC2 IP address is this thing over here. 192.168.1.2. So let's do that. 192.168.1.2. And then you have the subnet mask here. Okay, so once everything is okay, we can actually close the window. So the last part I need to do is to verify the connectivity. Okay, so step 2, test the connectivity from the PC. So I go over to the PC1. Okay, and I go over to the PC1 command prompt. So let me go over to my PC1. PC1 is here, command prompt. So my PC1 command prompt is here. So let me ping the address for my S1. Okay, S1 is 192.168.1.253. So let's do that. Ping 192.168.1.253. Press enter and wait. Okay, so in this case, the ping is successful. 3 packets received, 1 packet is lost. So don't worry, if you run the same command again, you should be able to get 100%. Okay, so if you run the same command again, you should be able to get all the packets are received 100%. Okay, so we are done with this part. Were you successful? Yes. We are successful. We can pick the switch S1. So let's do the same thing. From PC1 ping S2. Okay. So S2 and PC2. So S2, if I'm not wrong, let's try again. So from PC1, I'll ping S2. So I will just ping S2, which is 254. Press enter. So press enter, you should be able to see the IP address 254 followed by the positive download. Okay, you managed to ping. So if you have 3 packets positive over here, you can actually run the same command again and ping the S2 again. So if you ping S2 again, you should be able to get 100%. Okay, all the packets are received. So if you encounter the first try, you don't get 100%, it's okay. You try and ping again second time, you should be able to get 100%. Okay. Okay, so this is the last part. So S2 is done. So let me ping the PC2. Okay, PC2. Let me check what's my address for PC2. PC2 is 1.2. Okay, so let me try ping. Ping.1.2. So same thing, if you ping PC2, you should be able to get all the packets received. I'll take the recording. Okay, so finishing. Okay, so just the last part of the PC. So I managed to ping the switch S2 and also the PC2 over here. Okay, so you should be able to get the responses to be 100% over here. Okay, so as mentioned here, if your first ping is not 100%, you can try and ping the second time round. After that, you should be able to get 100%. Okay.